Okay, let's take a look at this. I want to take a look at this. What Galchenyuk is going to bring to Phoenix slash Arizona, and what Domi is going to bring to Montreal. Galchenyuk needed a move. We know that. We know he needed a change of scenery. It had been talked about for what, 2 years? He starts his career off in 2012 2013 after being drafted in 2012. Max Domi started his career in 2015-16 after being drafted in 2013. What happens is Galchenyuk's got 418 games in the NHL. Domi has 222. It makes it look like Galchenyuk's a lot older than Domi. That's kind of false in that there's only a year between the two. Galchenyuk has 2 more years left at $4.9 million, and John Chayka has already said he's going to try him at center. Domi's a restricted free agent. He will not command 4.9 million. So are the Canadians looking to cut salary so they can bring somebody in? Maybe. I remember the Oilers doing that to bring in Lucic. And I'm not trying to suggest that Montreal's doing that, but there has to be some other part of a plan here. And I say that despite the fact that I know there's a lot of people who said a lot of things about Bergevin, and if you saw my legitimate reaction to this trade on this channel earlier today, I'm as dumbfounded as anybody else, but I'm trying to find the logic. Galchenyuk had 30 goals in 2015-16, and while we can focus on that, last year he had 19. Last year being 17-18. 51 points, whereas Domi, 9 goals, 45 points, and I think it was pointed out that 4 or 5 of his goals were empty netters this year. Max Domi's got some there's a confidence issue there. His shooting percentage was really low, which will make some Canadian fans choke and go, wait, what? Yeah. The Montreal Canadiens, who all year I was kind of riding them about their shooting percentage being really low, they got a guy with a 6% shooting percentage. Whew. The worst part is this. Galchenyuk going to Arizona, this takes that weight off of him. He doesn't have that expectation of, you were the number 3 draft pick. Yeah, and he scored 30 goals, and his points per game in 16-17 were higher than they were in 15-16, although everybody attacked him. This past season, there was certainly plenty of people who pointed out, his points totals haven't got up to where we'd expected them. Right, but he was playing for Montreal, not a team known for having a ton of snipers. Brendan Gallagher tweeted out congratulations to him and seems to think the world of him. And I'm sure Gallagher's excited to work with Domi, but I don't know what kind of goal scorer Domi's going to be. And Domi doesn't have that upside at center. His career numbers and faceoffs are low, and I understand that Arizona didn't really use him at center very often, but I'm trying to find the logic, and it gets difficult. You are saving on cap over the next couple of years. Galchenyuk needed to get traded. But I look at this and I think, okay, either Mark Bergevin sees something in Max Domi that a lot of us fans don't, or he didn't ask the right team, and maybe this was the best trade that was out there. Maybe other teams looked at Montreal and said, yeah, you need to trade this guy, so maybe we're going to lowball you a little bit and wait for you to come back, and instead this is the trade that gets made. Galchenyuk's the number 3 draft pick in 2012. Domi's the number 12 draft pick in 2013. Domi does not have the upside of Alex Galchenyuk. And that's not an insult to Max Domi at all. That is a compliment to Galchenyuk. If he gets it together, if Arizona is able to put him with the right line mates, if he can figure out the center position in Arizona, and this is the funny thing, it's almost as if Mark Bergevin saw what was going on in Ottawa, and people are saying, this is the worst tire fire in the league, and he goes, wait, hold my beer. Can somebody get John Chayka on the phone? And this is the result. And while that may be oversimplifying it, that may be oversimplifying it, I saw this trade and I thought, well, there's going to be draft picks involved, right? Like, say, for instance, that Galchenyuk and a third goes here, and it's a second that goes to Montreal with Domi. And maybe this is the third in 2019, and this is the second in 2018. Like, something like that's gotta be the way it... No, that was 1-for-1. And I just find myself asking the question to Montreal. They need a center. So does this mean they're going to trade down? Are they? And I say this knowing that, like, there's a nightmare scenario. So you've traded out Galchenyuk to bring in Domi, okay, so you can save some money. Now you really want a center because you know you need a center. So you trade down, trade away Philip Zadina, likely Philip Zadina, for a chance to draft a center. Say Kokanyemi. Zadina goes on to be a superstar wherever you trade him to go. Just like Sergachev looks like he's going to be in Tampa, Subban's been in Nashville, and Galchenyuk could be in Arizona. I'm not sure that I understand the logic in this, but Montreal needs a center. And if it's announced in the coming days that Bergevin foresees Domi being a center, and he absolutely could. This is officially one of the weirdest, unintentionally funniest things I've seen in a long time. And yeah, I see this and I go, are Montreal fans being trolled? Like, does Bergevin secretly hate Montreal? And I hate to say that because I want to look at this deal and say, okay, Montreal wins if. Montreal wins if Domi turns it around and gets, 25 goals and Galchenyuk struggles here. And they've got this great cap. And maybe Montreal scouts, professional scouts, watched Arizona games this year and said, you know what? We can turn Domi's game around. We can get him back to 20 goals or something that he's never had in his career. But it's dicey. The risk of trading Galchenyuk, and I've said the whole time that trading Galchenyuk is really risky, especially if you're trading while his value's lower than where it was a couple years ago. The best time to trade him was 2 years ago. That was the best time to trade him. And coming off of a 30-goal season, I don't think there's a whole lot of people that would have said, oh yeah, let's trade our 30-goal scorer. Montreal's a team that struggles to score goals, and they just traded 10 away. They went from a 19-goal scorer to a 9-goal scorer. They both played 82 games this past season. You can't say one was injured and one wasn't. It's going to be interesting to see what happens from here. Because Jeff Molson, Montreal ownership, fully believes in Marc Bergevin and what he's doing. And I, as a fan of hockey, watch this and I go, what are you doing? The once proud, mighty Montreal Canadiens, and the trades are really weird. Last summer, Drouin for Sergachev, it just felt really short-sighted and weird because Sergachev seemed like the exact kind of defenseman they needed on that blue line. This seems weird because Galchenyuk, to me, seems like he has more upside as a center than Domi. He has more upside for goal scoring than Domi, and they need a goal scoring player who could potentially transfer to being a center, and it could work for him in Arizona. It could fail. It could fail miserably. But what does a failure by Galchenyuk look like this year? 15, 20 goals? What does a successful season for Domi look like after a 9-goal season? 15, 20 goals? It'll be interesting. But let me know your thoughts in the comments section below. This is a trade we're going to be looking at quite a bit before the season. And when I do my previews for next season, it'll be interesting to see just how much goal scoring is left at Montreal at that point, and whether or not they've held on to that draft pick or if they've traded down so they can draft centers, or what they're doing. But let me know your thoughts in the comment section below because I think this is going to be a very interesting summer for Montreal. Hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video. And there you go. There's my attempt at using numbers to try to bring up why this could potentially work. And I don't know how well I've argued it for Montreal, but I've tried. Thank you for watching. I'll talk to you again soon.